This is Hope Core Music from Akira the Dawn. Dawn, Dawn, Dawn.
Akira. It's for the heroes,
With doubt and dismay you are smitten. You think there's no chance for you, son. Why the best books have not yet been written? The best race, it hasn't been run. The best score, it hasn't been made yet. The best song, it hasn't been sung. The best tune, it hasn't been played yet. Cheer up, for the world is young. No chance when the world is just eager for things that you ought to create. Its store of true wealth is still meager. Its needs are incessant and great. It yearns for more power and beauty, more laughter, more love, more romance, more loyalty, labor and duty. No chance, why there's nothing but chance. For the best verse, it hasn't been rhymed yet. The best house, it hasn't been planned. The highest peak hasn't been climbed yet. The mightiest rivers aren't spanned. Don't worry and fret, faint-hearted. The chances they have just begun. For the best jokes they haven't been started, and the best work it hasn't been done. Chance for you, son. Why the best books have not yet been written? The best race, it hasn't been run. The best score, it hasn't been made yet. The best song, it hasn't been sung. The best tune, it hasn't been played yet. Cheer up, for the world is young. For the best verse, it hasn't been rhymed yet. The best house, it hasn't been planned. The highest peak hasn't been climbed yet. The mightiest rivers aren't spanned. Don't worry and fret, faint-hearted. The chances they have just begun. For the best jokes they haven't been started, and the best work it hasn't been done.
Ask you who you are, and if you don't know, it will tell you. Program or be programmed. Eating wave. Watch your own brain.
Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining meaning. Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining meaning. That place where the meaning and the fact are conjoined. That's the proper place to lecture from. What you want to do as an academic is tell your students about something that you've encountered, that you've fallen in love with, and to communicate the love that you have for that. And not to say, well, you should read this book, but to say, well, here's this book, and here's what it can open up for you, and this is how it does it. This is what you'll gain from it. There's something in it that's of unbelievable utility, and you have to believe that in order to communicate it. To communicate that commitment you have to beauty and to truth and to literature, it isn't enough to say what they are and to transmit them. It's to manifest yourself as a living part of that tradition, and to show yourself thereby as a model for living out what that tradition represents, and to show that that's so much better than like a short-term pleasure-seeking nihilism. They're not even in the same conceptual universe. And people are far more open to that. They know already. People know, especially when they're hurt. They know that happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining meaning. They know happiness is fleeting, and that suffering requires a sustaining meaning. King's Chop. example, the people who started it didn't live to see its completion. They were driven by this nobility of transcendent vision, and they produced these enduring forms out of the bloody misery of history. We've erected all this spectacular infrastructure that we're so fortunate to be part of. None of that gratitude is taught. It's partly not taught because people have no sense of the absolute catastrophe of history. It's like nasty, brutish, and short. The simplest and most likely social circumstances. Catastrophe punctuated by hell. And to see that not happening in a sustained manner constantly, and to see things improving around us, and to be reliable in that manner, and then not to be grateful for that, it's an unbelievable combination of ignorance, ingratitude, and willful blindness. And to not instill that sense in young people, for them to understand that they are standing on the bones of generations of people who suffered to make this possible, despite all their errors, and have brought this forward. Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining need. They know happiness is fleeting, and that suffering requires a sustaining need. We could concentrate on building the future instead of criticizing the past. You start in the world, if you have some wisdom and some humility, by taking the potential that lies dormant in front of you and interacting with it in the logos-like manner, with truth and with love, and by transforming that potential into whatever you can create out of it that's good. It won't be small if you do that. You can transform your whole household by transforming your room. You can transform your whole neighborhood by transforming your house. Like, these things spread very, very rapidly, and that is right there in front of you. People think they're impoverished, that they don't have any opportunity, and the opportunity is hidden from them by their unwillingness to take the steps that are necessary to put what they could put in front of them in order, and to produce the beauty instead of the ugliness where they could do that. And I don't think there is anything more powerful than that. That works. Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining need. They know that happiness is fleeting, and that suffering requires a sustaining need. Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining need. They know that happiness is fleeting, and that suffering requires a sustaining need. So to say, well, here's a balm for the suffering, and it's profound and deep, and here's what it's meant to me, and here's how you can incorporate it into your life. People are absolutely starving for that, or dying of thirst for that.
This is Soul Slave Radio by Akira the Don.
I was fat. So I talk about it. Go ahead and say something, motherfucker. I was fat too. And it was hard as fuck every fucking day to get up. I know what it feels like. When you roll your fat ass out of bed and all you want is some fucking damn cinnamon buns and shit. And fucking chocolate milkshake. I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. But I can't want it more than you. And so many people just wanted the easy way. I'm sorry, man. It's not. So what they start to do is they build this narrative of it's okay. When the narrative should be, you need to fucking work harder. You need to fucking discipline your mind better. We need to help people more than just saying it's okay. It's okay that you're not fucking willing to fucking help yourself out. That's not okay. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. Even though it's your life, if that's acceptable, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Even though it's your life, that's unacceptable. And just saying it's okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's unacceptable. And there's a lot of people in this world, me included, that if I accepted that, I wouldn't be anywhere. So yeah, a lot of people just fucking, they start creating a narrative about themselves that make it okay. The ultimate get out of jail free card. And now the world is set up to have so many get out of jail free cards. Everything is okay. And you can't say a motherfucking thing about it. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. Even though it's your life, if that's acceptable, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Even though it's your life, that's unacceptable. Then just saying it's okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Even though it's your life, that's unacceptable. Then just saying it's okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's unacceptable.
Happens, they take over the radio stations because they want to get right into the thoughts of the people. Think it's going into your brain. It's words. You ever heard of Akira the Don? Just press play. Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that. Everyone hears that. But Rome also didn't fall apart overnight either. It took hundreds of years for Rome to reach its peak, but it also took time, hundreds of years, for Rome to decay and fall apart. And that is representative of life. You don't achieve worthwhile goals quickly or easily. They take time. They take struggle. They take relentless pursuit day in and day out. That's what it takes. That's why I say you've got to pay attention. You have to watch every single second. Every single second, because every second counts. 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 Also, things don't usually fall apart quickly either. It's a slow process. Slip here, a little setback over there, a little wearing down of discipline and will over time. So that's the thing. Success and failure are generally slow processes. Either slowly building things up or gradually tearing them down. That's why I say you've got to pay attention. That's why I say you've got to pay attention. You have to watch every single second. Every single second, because every second counts. 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 Because those seconds, they turn into minutes. And minutes turn into hours. And hours turn into days. And days turn into years. That second that just went by, that counted. And so did that second. And so did that one. And in those precious seconds, you were either building or you were decaying. You were either gaining ground or you were losing ground. In that second. And in every
Broadcasting live from the peak of recorded human civilization. You're listening to Akira the Don.
I deal with setbacks, failures, delays, defeat, or other disasters.
I actually have a fairly simple way of dealing with these situations. It is actually one word to deal with all those situations. And that is good. And this is actually something that one of my guys that worked for me pointed out to me. He would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. One day he was telling me about some issue that he was having.